Today we are going to be creating this tulip artwork. It is a painting and a collage. We're going to be focused on rhythm. When you repeat a shape or a color or a design element over and over again in your artwork, you are creating rhythm. Notice all the tulips are not in exactly the same place. Some are higher and lower, and they are also different colors. That is variety. So we are going to add some variety to our artwork to create some visual interest. Next, I'm going to create a little video showing you how we are going to make this artwork. All right, so here is the demonstration for the tulip project. First thing we're going to do is take this large piece of paper and we are going to fold it in half. So if you line up both corners and then press down with your other hand, we should be able to fold it in half. It doesn't need to be perfect, so everybody should be able to do this. The next thing we're going to do is take a pencil and put our name on the back of our paper so we know whose it is. And then we are going to open it up. Day one, we are going to be using oil pastels, these Crayola oil pastels, to create some mark making or just add some color. What we're going to be doing this for is we're going to be creating a resist on our paper. I don't know if you noticed in the picture of the tulips that there was kind of a lot of colors and whatnot, and I think what they did is maybe they might have used oil pastels on their paper before they painted. So the oil pastels will resist the tempera paint because it is water-based, so the wax creates a resist. So you can even use white, although you won't be able to see it on the white paper. After you paint, you'll be able to see it. So this half of the paper is going to be the leaves, so we're going to be painting with yellow and green, and this half of the paper we're going to be painting whatever colors you want. We don't want to mix the colors up too much because that will muddy it up. We want them to be nice and bright because they're going to be our tulips. So I'm going to just start making some different marks on my paper. I don't want to fill up the whole entire paper because I want to be able to have some paint on here. Remember, the oil pastel is going to resist the paint, so if we fill the whole thing with oil pastel, we won't have any paint left. So I'm just making some marks. You can do whatever you want. We're going to be cutting this up to create our tulips, so you won't be able to see it all anyways. All right, so you can do anything you want. I think I'll do some dashes here. I might add some yellow here too. Oh, maybe I'll do some purple. You want to do this fairly dark, otherwise it will not resist at all. And we don't need to fill the whole entire paper, but just do as much as you can. All right, since I have white in some of this, I think this looks pretty good. All right, next we're going to move on to the painting. So I think I'm going to start with this top part, which is the yellow and the greens for my leaves and my stems. You want to make sure that you get quite a bit of paint on here so that it is opaque. That means that you really can't see the paper through it. So I like to swirl my brush in that paint with the water on it and get a lot of paint on my brush. Remember to rinse out your brush and get the paint off of the brush before you go into another color. The colors I'm using right now are kind of neon colors. And I'm going to use some regular ones too. You can kind of blend them together because they're similar colors. And I'm going to go into the regular green. And the regular yellow. Oh, it's kind of turning green. And we want to fill the whole space. You can see where the oil pastel is resisting. You can keep going over it until it's as dark as you want it to be. It should be fairly dark. There. All right, so I think that looks pretty good. Looks like I got a little eraser on there. All right, now I'm ready to move on to the flower side. I'm gonna start off with a neon pink. This looks like a really pretty color. And now I'm going to move on to the red. That's in the regular temperas. Then I'm going to go on to the neon red. It's kind of an orangey looking red, I think. Oh, that's pretty. Oh, and I think I want to use some purple. This is in our regular palette. Notice I'm not mixing the colors up too much together because we don't want it to get muddy on our painting. Things kind of tend to turn brown if you try to mix the colors together that don't really go together. If they're next to each other on the color wheel, then we can mix them. Some yellow. And I think some orange. I think I'm going to add a little bit of neon yellow on top of this other yellow. I guess it's not going to change it. That got a little bit dark, but that's okay. All right, so here is my completed painting. This is probably going to take us a couple days to get all of this done. Then we're going to let it dry, and then I will go make another video. All right, now my painting is dry. The next thing we are going to do is flip it over. And we are going to start tracing. So you need to make sure that you're on the flower side. Everybody is going to get a tulip tracer, and we are going to put it on the back of our paper and start tracing our tulips. Oops. We're going to try to put them close together so we can get as many as we can on our paper. Alright, I think 9 is enough because I want to, I'm going to use a paper punch to make some circles coming out of the tops of the tulips later on. So I want to keep this little scrap of paper. I have also created a tulip leaf, and we are going to do the same thing with the leaf, trace it all over our paper. Remember, we also need some stems, so I want you to leave, probably this much of your paper alone so I can cut some stems for you. So we're going to trace, let's see, we have 9. Next, we'll be cutting the whole thing out, and I'm going to help you get some stems on here and some little circles. All right, so I've got all my shapes cut out. The first thing I did was glue down all of my stems. I have enough for each one of my flowers. Notice they're different heights to create our visual interest, and they're not exactly perfectly spaced. But I glued them down the best that I can, so they're pretty flat and pretty smooth, and I did not use too much glue. Notice there's no glue all over the paper, so we need to be very careful with that. The next thing I'm going to do is take my leaves. I have them all cut out here, and I'm going to start kind of laying them out how I think that they should look and gluing them on. You probably need to move them around so that you can see them pretty well. Maybe I'll put this one down here. So anyways, I'm going to go off camera and continue my work here, gluing my leaves on. Okay, now that I have my leaves all glued down, I might need to flatten them out a little bit more, but I wanted to hurry up and show you so I can finish my video. I have laid out my flowers. Some of them can be kind of curved if you want to, because they don't always stand straight up, right? That kind of creates some interest too. So I am going to glue these down, and then maybe on a few of them I'm going to use a paper punch and what's left of my paper to create some little circles, like the little stamen that come out of the flower. All right, here is our finished project. I think it turned out really amazing. I love the rhythm that this created. So we have rhythm in the stems, the leaves, the flowers, and the stamen. And we've got a lot of variety going on with the different colors of the tulips, with the mark making, different colors in the mark making, with the different heights of the flowers, and with adding the little stamens on there. So I am excited to see how yours turn out.